is Ken Sklitsky. I am the Voluntary Agency Liaison for FEMA Region 4, which is headquartered right here in Atlanta. So I am an Atlanta resident. I actually live in Norcross, so I'm OTP, outside the perimeter. Did have flooding right up to the front of my house, but nothing inside. So how many of you all had flooding? Hands up. A lot of folks, not too many folks. Have you registered yet? Hands up, hopefully. Okay, we really want to encourage people to register for FEMA assistance if they had damage to their home. It's real important that you don't disqualify yourself thinking, I'm not as bad as some of those ones over in Austell and Powder Springs and so on and so forth. But if you had damage, register. And then if you're ineligible, certainly we'll turn you down. We're not going to give you money just because you called. But we do want you to register if you had damage, or if you know other people. That was a good lead-in, because you may run into somebody at church, or you may see somebody at the grocery store that you know, and realize that they have damage. So how do you do that? You register by calling FEMA at 800-621-FEMA, 3362 FEMA, and we have some flyers in the back in both English and Spanish that can help you if you forget that number. You can also register online at www.disasterassistance.gov. All one word, disasterassistance.gov. So if you're more comfortable doing it online, you can do it online. If you're more comfortable calling, you'll talk to a real person and they'll take your application. It takes about 20 minutes to get through the application process. They're going to ask about what your current address is. They're going to ask about where your damaged dwelling address is. They're going to ask you about the size of your household. They're going to ask you some income questions. They're going to ask you about whether you had insurance. Now, we realize that we have a lot of areas of the city that flooded. They're not typically places that flood. So you may have insurance, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have flood insurance. And so it's real important that if you tell us you have insurance, and then you call your insurance company, and they say you don't have flood insurance and you're not eligible, that you get back to us. Flood insurance should be your first recourse. Your second recourse is to come back to us and we can provide assistance. And some of you may have elected to not have additional living expense. That's an insurance. It's an optional coverage, which puts you up in a motel or gives you a place to live until you can get back in your house. If you don't have that, and your insurance company tells you that, then we can provide that. Because as a result of that application, in the absence of insurance, we're going to come out and inspect the property and take a look at whether you had damage as a result of the storm. And if you're a homeowner or a renter, we're going to provide rental assistance for you to find another place to live. And if you're a homeowner, we're going to provide assistance to help you make those home repairs. So that's available for you, and that's a grant. Grants are good things. Grants you don't have to pay back. Now, my friend up here from the SBA is going to tell you about a really good program with the Small Business Administration, but that is a loan. But before she comes up, it's real important that you understand that the registration process is out there, that the insurance issue is out there, and then the inspection issue. Now, there's also a lot of assistance that's available for the voluntary agencies that have been going out and helping with people muck out their houses, kind of pull out the wet carpet and the destroyed furniture and the drywall that's gotten wet and so on and so forth. So if you need help with that, you can access any of those resources by calling 211. That's our information referral hotline throughout the city, 2-1-1. And they can connect you up with a number of agencies, to include the Baptists and the Samaritan's Purse and the Methodists and the Lutherans and the other churches that are providing that assistance. And so if you need help with that, contact that number and they can connect you up. It's going to be 211's an information referral number, so they're going to give you some information about another place to call. Just realize that that's what they're about. Now, the voluntary agencies are also going to be around for the long-term recovery, and so it's real important that you get engaged with them also. Now, the concern that I have, because I'm a resident too, is that I'm hearing on the TV and I'm hearing in the newspaper and stuff that people are already building back. And it's really important in Atlanta that you wait until things dry out before you replace that carpet. You know, don't be rushing out there and just lay down new carpet on top of that wet, because you'll get mold underneath the carpet, you'll get mold behind the drywall, and that'll create serious problems, especially once we turn on the heating system and get the pollen and the spores and stuff rotating through your house. So make sure that you have the person, the contractor, whoever's going to help you out, do a moisture content level before you build back, because that's a real significant issue, especially in humid areas like this where people build back too quickly. You have to be real careful with contractors. You know, there's a lot of fly-by-night agencies that know people are getting big checks, and they're rushing into the community and saying, hey, I'll take care of all this for you, just give me all your FEMA money, and then they take off with your money and you don't have anything. So really be careful with that. To provide assistance for that, we do have a disaster recovery center that's located, my FEMA people will help me out with where it is in this town. But at there, we have information about the disaster legal assistance. The Young Lawyers Group, like Legal Aid, has people, representatives available. They can help with looking over contracts. They also have the ability to take a look at landlord-tenant disputes, because basically we're finding already there's a whole lot of landlords that are real hesitant about making the repairs, but they still want you to pay your rent because it's October 1. And so they can help you with those issues related to the landlord-tenant. So we can provide rental assistance as a grant. We can provide assistance for medical, dental, and funeral, because unfortunately we did have 10 fatalities in this flood here in Georgia. We can also provide assistance with personal property. Transportation was a big deal. But some of these are issues that are eligible under the SBA program. And so an individual who registers may get an SBA application. It's real important if you do get one that you return it. Because we're having a real hard time in some of our other disasters with getting people to return those applications. So that DRC is located at the DeKalb County at the Browns Mill Recreation Center over on Browns Mill Road in Lithonia. Okay? So if you need to go to that, but you don't have to go to a DRC. About 95% of the people that apply can get everything taken care of either on the phone or on the computer or when the inspector comes. But if you'd like to talk to a person, that's where the closest DRC is. Okay? And we are going to be available. We have several people from Community Relations in the back of the room in their FEMA blue shirts. They have been canvassing the neighborhood. They've been passing out our peach-colored sheets that describe some of our programs. They've been answering questions, and we certainly can answer questions following the presentations this evening. So with that, we'll have SBA come up and talk about that.